What's up guys, Warnick Revolution here, back at you with another video, and you're probably wondering, why am I looking at a bunch of wheat pennies right now? Well, it's an interesting story, let me tell you. So I went to the bank recently, I think it was Tuesday I went, and the bank teller was telling me about this guy in the area who died recently. And kind of like a vague story about it, but she said someone's saving you some wheat pennies. A bank teller that was there, or that wasn't there, was saving me some wheat pennies. So she's like, hey, if you could come in tomorrow, she'll be here tomorrow, and then you can pick them up. And I'm like, all right. I'm interested in what the story is behind these pennies. So I go in the next day. The lady's there, and she's like, hey, I've got a bunch of wheat pennies for you, and like, she's like, do you mind if I tell you the story of how I even acquired these? And I was like, I don't mind at all, you know? I want to know just as much as anybody. It's a really cool story. I mean, it's kind of tragic, but it's a cool story. I guess the tragedy is, in the 1970s, this guy's daughter was like 16 or something like that, and they don't know, I mean, the bank teller didn't know the reason behind this, but I guess the 16-year-old girl died in the 70s, and these pennies were actually in her coat pocket with a bunch of older bills and things like that. But I don't know why. This is 60 wheat pennies right here. So 60 cents of wheat pennies. That's just a little bit weird for me. Like, I don't know if she was like a waitress or something like that at her young age, or what was going on. But for some reason, she had all these pennies in her coat pocket. And she died in the 70s, and I guess they never moved this jacket or anything since the 70s. They just left it in the closet, or her father left it in the closet. I just thought that was really interesting, that this older guy, he died and his estate was being cleaned out by, this guy was a churchgoer. His, different members of his church were helping out and, you know, settling his estate and whatnot. And they found all these wheat pennies, and they just didn't know what to do with them, so they just brought them to the bank to, just get the money for him, you know. And I just thought that was a really interesting story. I was curious to see what the years would be. Here's a 1928 right here. So there's some various years, but a lot of these are 40s and 50s. Like, this is a 54 Denver. There's some really older ones in here too. Here's a 50. Here's a 55 Denver. Here's a 46 Denver. Got a 55 Denver. I'm trying to find that older one that I was telling you guys about. It's a 42 San Francisco, so that's kind of cool. I don't even find those San Francisco mints that often. Oh, here it is, I think. Pretty sure this is it. Really worn down wheat cent. Oh, nope, this is a 47D. It's not that one. It was really worn down, but that wasn't the one I was thinking of. Here it is, right here. 1918. Really don't find those wheat pennies from the teens that often. And it's pretty worn down for sure. But it's not as worn as some of the ones I've seen from the teens, so that's pretty good. So we got a couple of these that still have some luster left on them, like this 1955 Denver and this 1957 Denver. Sometimes in boxes you can find them with like full luster and everything. They don't even look like they were circulated. That are like 57 Denvers, 58 Denvers, stuff like that. But I was just thinking we could go through these together. We got a 42 right here. We got a 44. Because I haven't looked through this myself, so I have no idea. Besides the 1928, I knew was in here, and the 1918. So we could find a treasure together. Who knows? Really awesome date or something. 1951 Philly, 1954 Denver, 1953 Denver, 1946 Philly, 1950 Philly, 1945 Denver, 1951 Denver, 1940 Philly. We got a 1955 Denver, 1953 Denver, 1949 Denver, 1957 Denver, 44 Denver, 44 Philly, 57. There's one with more luster on it. 1957 Denver. 1946. That looks like an oldie right there. We'll check that out soon though. 1958 Denver, 1958 Philly. 1944 San Francisco. 1957 Plain. 1946. This is the worn one I was talking about. It's not that worn, but it's pretty worn. 46 Philly. 1941, 1944, 1954 Denver, 1941, 1941 Philly, 1956 Denver, 1951 Denver, 1952 Denver, 1958 Denver, 1952 Denver, 1950 Philly. What's this one? 1953 Denver, 1941 Philly, 1952. Is that a scratch or something on there? Or is that a lamination error? I think it's a scratch. 1952 Denver. 1956 Denver, 1953 Denver, got a 53 Denver again, another 53 Denver, 1941, 1944, 1940 Denver, 1944 Philly, 1957 Philly, 1957 Denver, and the last one is a 1958 Philly. So yeah, that's what I got from the bank. I did pay just face value for them, so that was kind of nice. Instead of hunting a whole box, maybe finding 10, I can just buy 60 of them for just a penny, which is awesome. But anyways, that was my story. That was my, showing you guys the wheat pennies themselves. But only that 18 was really good in the 1928. Those aren't like super rare dates or anything like that. None of these are super rare mintages or anything like that. But still a really cool find. I definitely have quite a few wheat pennies, and now I have quite a few more. But I'll see you guys in my next video. I would like to know your comments, so comment down below what do you think of the story. Like this video if you like it, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.